Dadi Prakashmani was and really is the most extraordinary leader I have ever encountered. I lived with her for about 7 years in Mount Abu, and she was the most extraordinary administrator and spiritual leader. She was probably the only person who I felt had really seen deep into the depth of my being and recognized me as who I am. She had that depth of vision and perception, and because of that, she could really understand people. She would always, after the Murli, sit in the courtyard of Pandap Bhavan, and she would take the sun. She used to love the morning sun, and her long white flowing hair would reflect it like a river of moonlight. And in the evening, she would sit in the courtyard near to the full moon and make everyone turn off all the lights while Sister Asmita would sing beautiful songs of Baba. So Dadi was aware of the gathering as primarily a family, the family of God, the family of those who are cared for by God, and she recognized herself as an instrument. Of course, she grew up with Brahma Baba very closely, and she embodied all of his qualities as she took the mantle of responsibility for more than 40 years. In the courtyard after the Murli, she would sit and be absolutely available to anyone, so that there was no possibility of anyone in the gathering or any visitors feeling excluded or feeling a hierarchy. Dadi was completely accessible, and she would understand everything really quickly. I think that whenever anything really serious happened, she would never avoid it, but would be right there and right with people's feelings. I remember one occasion where there had been a terrible situation of either terrorists or bandits or something, and one of the brothers, his entire family had been killed in a very gruesome attack on his village. And Dadi kept him with her the whole day so that he could just be with his pain and be with a mother figure who was there to continue with her daily work, but yet her presence, her atmosphere, and he was sitting there and he could process his pain and continue with his life as a dedicated Brahma Kumar in Pandap Bhavan. Whenever there was a real problem like not enough food, not enough water, something like this, Dadi would gather the whole gathering and tell everyone exactly what the situation is, and she would listen to the heads of the different departments in Madhuban and take their opinion. If there was anything that had to be built or taken care of, she would gather the heads of departments that were concerned with that issue and discuss with them. So either everyone or the necessary people, but always she was a consultative leader. She would listen to everyone's take on the problem because they were involved, they knew the situation. She would feed back to them her interpretation and her decision. And if they wanted to do something different or adjust her decision, she would listen to that. and then she would make the adjustment. But Dadi's word was final. But the finality of her decision always included the input from everyone concerned. Sometimes she would ask me for my opinion on something that I thought was, nothing to do with me or way out of my range. But yet she valued my understanding, my input, my take on any situation. And I remember one time where there was a really bad accident. Maybe it wasn't really an accident. And it was a very big thing that had happened. Everyone knew about it. It was so bad that nobody really talked about it openly, but everyone knew. And I was a foreigner in Madhuban, and things that happened deep on the inside of the yagya, you can understand that they like to keep it more private. But yet Dadi came to me and she said, "Are you okay? Are you handling this all right?" I said, "Yes, Dadi." And she was fine. So she was really operating with people on the unspoken level, on the psychic level. I remember one time I was sitting with Dadi in the Tower of Peace, and she was all smiles. Her name, Prakashmani, means the jewel of light, and her forehead, her eyes, her smile sparkled. And she said to me, "Can you see him?" Avyakt Bapdada was moving around her, floating around there, and I could. And I said, "Yes, Dadi, he's right there with us." So extraordinary how close she was to the angelic form of Brahma Baba, who would move around and especially be in Madhuban. Of course, we know that he comes to every center at every Amrit Vela to just check and touch base with every Brahmin child. And he would use Dadi even through the angelic form. He would use her to get his work done, to get the atmosphere that he wanted, to keep everything at the level of intense spiritual beauty while performing all the administrative tasks. So Dadi was always living in the confluence age, in the subtle regions, but with her feet firmly planted on the ground. Dadi would travel outside India, and when Dadi took up the reins of the Brahma Kumaris in 1969 after Baba, whenever it was the 18th of January, Dadi would describe what happened. Because Baba had sent everyone away and just kept her back because he knew he was going. And in the evening, after the night class, she was there with him, and she talked about how he took her hand and he was having a heart attack and completely in control of mind and body, and passed the power through his hand to her hand. And so she knew that that had been done, and she had been appointed to continue with his work, and she did. As a really good trustee, faithful and continuing his work, so that for that long period of time, Baba's work could continue uninterrupted until she left her body July 25th of 2007. And I was there at the time in Shantivan. All of a sudden, word went around, she's going, and we went there to her room, and she went. And I remember sitting beside the glass enclosed air-conditioned casket all night as it lay on the stage in Diamond Hall. And then the funeral, which was thousands and thousands of people came, and all these garlands of sandalwood, and it was televised, and you could just see this smouldering fire, and remember everything about Dadi, what she did, what she stood for, how she carried the message of Baba in her eyes, in her heart, in her dealings. And when she would carry Baba's message abroad, when she would travel, she came, I remember when we started, myself and Chandruben, right in the beginning of the late 70s, we were in Toronto, and she came there in the summer. It was really very, very hot. And we were so new, and she gave so much power, so much presence to be like a foundation of the service that is going now so well in Canada. She was present in gigantic gatherings. Her vision, I remember one day she said, arrange 100,000 people and I will come. And within days, 100,000 people had been arranged in Ahmedabad, and these large gatherings continued all over India, and not quite so large, but abroad also, with these big programs in the 80s and 90s. Dadi really carried the spiritual university from something really unknown and small to something worldwide and gigantic. And world leaders counted her among their friends and colleagues in this work of trying to create a better world. So Dadi is an enormous part of my life and a foundation of my spiritual experience and practice and understanding.